Religions of the world in 10 minutes or less. These are the religions that I've either visited or studied. Zoroastrianism. I've talked to some Zoroastrians, but I've never actually visited with them. It's stated to be one of the first monotheistic religions, located in Iran, now moved to roughly India. Eckankar, a American religion. I've actually visited with them. They believe in inner light and an inner sound, and you pray or focus on that, and that answers your questions. There's other elements. Buddhism believes in reincarnation. The goal is to ultimately join with the universe, and to do so you need to recognize that connection to this world, namely karma, is the problem, and the goal is to get rid of that. The Federation of Demahar. Well, by the way, yes, I did visit the Buddhists, both Thai and Cambodian Buddhists, to be precise. Federation of Demahar. This is a group in northern Italy, or in Italy, that believes in art as a key element to their faith. They're pagan in nature. They're a pagan faith. Islam, and I did not visit them. Islam is of course, you all have heard about that lately. And I have visited with them. I have read the parts of the Quran. I was not in any way impressed. Bon. This is a religion that predates Buddhism and is believed to be the origin of Buddhism in northern India. Actually in Tibet specifically. Deism. There's a belief that there is a God, but we really can't describe it. Hinduism. I have visited with the Hindus. It was relatively disturbing. I was not ready for some of the yoga practices they do for cleansing purposes that I observed. I did not participate with. Christianity, of course, I am a Christian. I believe that is a true way of life and the truth of the world. So, obviously I visited with them. Baha'is, I visited with them for a while. They're a religion that came out of Islam. They're an effort to unite all the faiths under the idea that different prophets come along the line to refresh the message, and the next one's due in 1,000 years. And of course, their one was the last one. And I visited with them for a number of times. They're nice people, and they actually were good to talk to. They were attacked in Iran when the Islamic Revolution happened, and most of them fled. Sikhism, I visited with them. Actually, they surprised me on a lot of their teachings. I really liked what their Guru Nanak taught, but I'm not too keen on some of their other gurus. Wicca and paganism, I visited with both. I went to their campsites. I'm not really all that impressed. It's more of a feeling-based religion than an actual thinking-based religion, as far as I can tell. So I was not really all that impressed with them. It was just more about just feelings, and I haven't seen magic work, so the rituals seemed pretty pointless to me. And "Thou art God" kind of seemed like a really silly statement to make. Judaism is the foundation of Christianity, and the only problem I have with them is that they don't accept Christ. Other than that, they're fine people. I visited with them. Unitarian Universalism, that's not a religion almost. That's almost a country club, you know. In fact, when I went there, I asked them if you had any kind of comparative religion discussions or whatever, thinking, but apparently even mentioning God might offend one of their atheists, so they didn't want to have that in their group. It was just totally pointless. Kaudai, visited with them. They believe that the three major religious leaders of the world, Buddha, Jesus, and I think another one, are God, etc. They're very spiritualists. They're founded out of, I think, Vietnam. Taoism, never visited with them. Want to. They seem interesting, although the idea that there's just a balance between stuff I don't really buy. Juche is a North Korean belief system. It's the closest thing to an atheist religion The idea is that the human people have to become one massive colony, this uber communism basically. And of course, Kim Jong-il is supposed to be in charge of all of it. Gnosticism is not a Christian religion. I have not visited with them, but I've read their texts. Gnosticism was an attempt to basically change Christianity into something it never was. It came much later after Christianity started, and is often confused because Gnostics used Christian words and things within their teachings to try to get people to come to them. But it was ultimately a thing about personal enlightenment, and it wasn't really about God. Atheism, I believe, is a faith, not a religion, but a faith, because you have to have faith to believe that there's no God, because you can't prove it one way or the other. Jainism is a Hindu offshoot that is very much about an austere life. That's where you get the word skyclad, or a lot of the religious people in that, holy men in that group, go naked, and that's called skyclad. Shinto. Shinto is a spirit religion of Japan. It's a cultural religion. It works often in conjunction with Buddhism and Confucianism. And Shinto is much like, actually, most pagan faiths, to be honest with you. It's really about spirits and trees and stuff like that, and they just have different spirits like the Eastern dragons and whatnot. Christian Scientology is not a Christian religion. Christian Scientology is self-empowerment type thing. It's really not, and it's almost a business in many ways. It's very similar to Gnosticism in some ways. Astru is the belief, the attempt to recreate the original Norse faith. And the idea behind Norse faith is that the gods are just an extended part of your family. They're like your great-great-great-great-great-great-grandparents. And they're waiting for you in Valhalla, and there's etc., all that stuff. Druidism is a worship of plants, and I have visited with Druids. I've talked with them, etc. I've seen their rituals. I have about the same view of them as I do with Wiccans and Pagans. It doesn't surprise me that the three groups tend to work together and tend to have common meetings. Mormonism, or Latter-day Saints, is not a Christian religion by my definition because it rejects the Trinity. It also accepts the writings of Mormon, the Book of Mormon specifically, and that is not, in my opinion, part of God's writings. But I have visited with them. One of the elements of Mormonism is that you can become God of your own planet and be put in such a position. So, in many ways, many pagans find Mormonism more welcoming than they do Christianity because it goes along with their statements of thou art God, and has moments where you can become God. Become a god, not the god, but a god. Rastafarianism started off, I haven't visited with them, it started off as I have read their holy book, their main book. It started off as a Afrocentric group who blamed whites and etc., cast them as the demons and etc., and the monsters and such, and they picked this guy Rasta in Africa as being their religious leader, even though he never acknowledged that status, and they see that as yet another sign why how it was. It's kind of a blending of Christianity, local tribalism, and spiritualism into one metamorphosed faith. Jehovah's Witnesses, I have visited with them. My grandfather was one, and grandmother was one. They're not a Christian religion. They're nice people, they can be nice people, but they're not a Christian religion because they reject the Trinity and Jesus being God. In their case, they consider Jesus simply the first man. Anyways, those are the religions of the world. Hopefully I made it within 10 minutes. And I wish you the best. God bless, and have a good day.